everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's Rachel Ray here, and today we are going to talk about cross stitch. A lot of cross stitch and some knitting at the end. So if that's of interest to you, please keep watching. If you're new here, hi. Welcome to my little family here on the internet. This is where I post all of my crafty stuff. I do diamond painting, beaded cross stitch, regular cross stitch, and knitting and all kinds of stuff. So hopefully you'll enjoy. Today is Sunday, the 4th of May, and I usually do this on Saturday, and I did do it yesterday, but I was a little too rushed. So we are going to not dwell on that and just move on. Today I'm having coffee. It is just before noon, and it's a very cloudy, overcast day today, but hopefully that'll be really good for the lighting. So, where should I begin? Let's start with the project that had the most progress this week. As you know, or maybe you don't know, but I'm doing a Heaven and Earth design called Soul of the Rose. And I finished page 1. Let's see if it won't blow out. So I'll put a picture here on the screen so that you can see it. But this is the first page, the first full page. There's a few colors missing, but that's okay. Isn't it cool? So that's about 2.5% of the pattern finished. I'm doing this in complete half stitches. Complete half stitches. Do you get me? It's in half stitch. So it kind of gives it this tapestry feel, which I really like actually for this image. And it's going really fast because of that. This is a 25 count, easy count Lugana, which I got from Amazon. And yeah, I'm really liking it. The needle minder is my own. It's from my shop. My shop will be opening soon, hopefully, with all the things going on in the world. I'm just waiting so that I can ship worldwide again. But I do have the Galaxy Kitties in stock for when the shop opens again. So keep an eye out. Go favorite my Etsy shop down below. If you're interested in any of the details of this project, please click the link haven down below to see more about it. But I did the 24 hours of cross stitch challenge over the weekend, last weekend, and I spent 24 hours on this project. So I'm super proud of my progress, and I love how detailed it is. My intention is to go all the way across the top of the project and then come down and do more. And I know that some people prefer to stagger it or go in a diagonal or something like that, but it's my first, so I'm gonna just do it the easy way. All right, so that's that one. Chuffed, very chuffed about my progress. The next project that I worked on that I actually completed I caught up, is, this is not a finish, this is a catch-up, is the Peppermint Purple Black Work Stitch Along. So I did the last 3 squares down here. Not meaning to flip you off there. Isn't it pretty? I love that. The middle square there with the kind of the rectangles and then the triangles. Oh my gosh. This project, you guys, it's a free stitch along. And it has been the most therapeutic of all of the things that I've been doing. Probably because it's just so little each week. And I find that really helpful right now. Just a little mini win every week has been super helpful for my mental health. So I'm really enjoying this. If you're interested in starting your very own, it is linked in the link haven. I am using the original called for palette, so I have all the original colors. Thank you to my Floss Fairy for making that possible and building up my stash. I really, really appreciate that. And this is on a just regular 14 count Aida in white. Oh, and just so that you can see, these are the remaining colors. It's hard to see because of the glare, and I'm sorry about that, but it goes from blues to greens to golds. It's going to be so pretty. So, super excited that I caught up with that project. And then the one with the least amount of progress, but still progress nevertheless, is my Harry Potter Letters to Hogwarts Stitch Your Own Adventure. And I worked on that bottom letter where it's all about Quidditch. And it's just a lot of counting, so it's taking me a lot longer to do than I anticipated. But that's okay. I am stitching this on 20 count Flagstone Ada by the Crafty Kitten. Isn't it pretty? And call for DMCs, blah, blah, blah. But I've changed, like, this element is not original. And the next letter has come out. So let me talk to you about this next letter. It's going to be over here. And if you haven't seen it already, Stuart Cunningham is in charge of this stitch along, and he releases a new part every 2 months. So every other month, right? Yeah. Every other month he releases a letter. And basically the first one was the house banner for yourself. The second one was what position would you play in Quidditch? And the third one is what is your favorite class, or something to that regard. And so this letter has so many outcomes. Like the way that it's designed is basically that you follow the PDF and you click on the hyperlinks to take you to the right place. When I clicked on the links, now this is a small spoiler, so if you don't want to get spoiled, just skip ahead to where I'm not holding this up like this anymore, okay? Fair warning. But for this letter, when I originally clicked through, it said that I would be in the Advanced Runes class. And while I really like that, I didn't think that it would work very well with the other elements. Oh, that's my tummy, sorry. With the other elements that I have. So I am contemplating doing either either a combination of a few different elements or the Thestral. Or the unicorn, or both. I don't know. I don't know. But I have plenty of time to think about it because I do need to catch up. And then my plan is, if I ever do catch up, which I'm not really sure if I will, because this third page is quite involved, it's almost full coverage. I think that it's going to take me until next year to finish the whole frame of this piece, because each letter is like a little bit more complicated than the last. Like the first letter, the original one, would have been the easiest, and I would have had it done really quickly, but I decided to wait and try to figure out my own thing. Highly don't recommend that if it takes you a while to make decisions. But I am looking forward to it, and I have not forgotten that I have glow-in-the-dark thread specifically for this project, and I am trying to decide what elements I want to stick out, but that's going to be a post-finish kind of enhancement. And I'll choose elements after that and keep you up to date on all of that. So that is my Letters to Hogwarts by Stuart Cunningham. Okay, and that is that for my regular whips. So I'm going to take a sip of coffee. Now, let's talk for a few minutes about Stitch Mania. So I asked my viewers and followers what I should do about Stitch Mania. And a lot of people were very encouraging and saying, only do what you feel like doing. Don't stress yourself out. Don't start too many new projects, and all good words of advice. This, however, is my first year of Flosstube, and I feel in the middle. I think it would be really, really fun to start a whole whole lot of new projects, but only projects that I really want to do. So I have modified the way that I'm doing my Mania, and I'm probably not going to do 20 new projects, or start 20 brand new from scratch projects. But I am going to do all the ones that I really love, that I know that I want to finish at some stage. And I'm removing all pressure. So these are, it's not a specific amount of time that I need to do. I don't have to reach a certain goal in my whips before I can start a new project. I don't do well with limitations like that. Some people call them goals. I call them limitations. So basically, if I see a project that I want to work on or that I'm curious about or something like that, I'll start it. And if I don't like it, then I'll put it down and I'll work on a current work in progress, a WIP. So the first one that I started on May 1st was the Baby Drawers Quilt by Dimensions. Now, I did see on Facebook that when I posted this, someone thought that I was hinting at me being pregnant. I'm not pregnant. I'm not pregnant. My sister is. And I bought this for her, but then realized that there's no way that I'm going to have this finished by the time baby is due. Not even. I purchased this from Michael's online. Around Christmas, I think, or a little after. And it is so adorable. I'm up here on the first teddy bear on the right-hand side. But let me talk about this. This is my first quilt. This is the first quilt that I've ever tried to cross-stitch on. And I think someone also started with this project as well. They were telling me about it in a comment, either on YouTube or Instagram. I can't remember, I'm so sorry. But basically, and this is going to be really hard to show, there's two ways of doing this. You can either hide your stitches between the layers of the batting, and then you don't have to put a backing on it. Or you can do a normal cross stitch where you pierce through both layers, and then you put a little layer in between, and then hand sew all the way around on the back. And I decided after about an hour of hiding stitches that it was going so slowly that I wasn't enjoying it. So I just started doing the full cross and going through both sides of the fabric. So here I am. Oops. So I started, the pattern says to start with satin stitches. So the noses and the eyeballs are satin stitches. And essentially you just do long horizontal stripes with the thread. And then I started on the accents of the bear's face or the bear's head. And eventually what'll happen is I'll put in all the back stitching as well on top, and then once the whole thing is done, you wash it and it takes out all of the ink. So it's going to look incredible. It really will. It is going to take a long time to do. But I mean, I think this is about 2 hours of work, but keep in mind that I did do all of the eyes on the top part of this. So that's probably why it doesn't look like too much progress, but it is enjoyable. It's really fun. The pattern is really confusing, but I'll get through it. It's fine. But I did want to get a start on it. I wanted to feel what it was like to stitch on quilt. And I think part of the fun is going to be finding a fabric that'll go on the back. That'll be super cute. So that is Stitch Mania Day 1. And my progress there. Now I'm going to put that away. I don't think I'm going to be working on that anytime soon. And part of that is just because I know there's just no way I can have it done for my sister. So I will work on it now and again. And who knows, maybe there will be another baby and that will be for that baby. So Stitch Mania Day 2 was yesterday. On this one, I have not shown you. I impulse bought a pattern from Natalie Stitches on Etsy. She's that Floss Boss on Instagram. And it is this cotton candy cherry blossom tree. I'm shaking from the coffee, so I'll put a picture up on the screen. I didn't have all of the colors that it called for, so I did do some substitutions, and I meant to tell you what the website is, just in case. thread-bear.com has a tool called the closest DMC thread color lookup. And so if you don't have a specific DMC number, you click on the DMC that you do not have and it gives you the next best color. So I did that for quite a few of them just so that I could kit it up and have it started. It's small, it's 111 by 104 stitches. So I took out this piece of fabric that I got from the Crafty Kitten. It was part of the small bit bags, and this is a 16 count Aida called Vintage Violets. It's kind of got this greenish purple, or a purple with green flecks in it, and I thought that would look amazing with the pink. So I started with the trunk of the tree and I got really far. I think that's really good progress for one day. There is a lot of confetti for obvious reasons, but it's really enjoyable to stitch. And my plan is to actually go, so I've been following the trunk and filling in the trunk of the tree so that I have a guide to move from. And I'm going to do a 100 or a block of 100 going up in columns, I think, or going out diagonally or something like that, just so that I can keep my place because I'm using a digital pattern. And the needle minder that I'm using is also something that I had in my shop, the Wave. This one is mine because it glued funky and it doesn't sit properly, so I kept it. I'm not selling that. So that was Stitch Mania Day 2, which I really like that pattern. I saw it and immediately just knew I had to have it in my life, and I thought I might like put it up here somewhere, you know, where I can see it and have it framed. And let's talk about the next project. This is what I plan to start tonight. You may recognize this this bag. Now, you might not be expecting this, but I'm going to make a start, or attempt to make a start, on my brain freeze. Make a start on the Chinese Zodiac Stitch Along by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This is my piece of fabric, which is linen from Pole Stitches. I haven't worked on linen in a while and I'm a bit intimidated, but the first pattern dropped on the 15th of April, I think. And I did not start it then because I wanted to start it for Mania. So you can probably imagine how excited I am to do it. And actually I might break the whole, like, you know, because again, I don't want to have to follow all these weird rules and get lost in it and, you know, make it more difficult to do. So actually what I'm planning on doing is trying to catch up. So do the first pattern drop and then start when the next one drops. So my plans make sense in my head, but probably not to anyone else. But I am super excited to start on that one because it is so pretty, but I don't have all of the floss for it. It's still in the States. So I can only do so much, and I'm probably gonna, there will be elements that are bare that I can't do until I get that floss, which is perfectly fine. There's no rush on that. It's, the world is crazy right now. It's gonna be fine. And that is actually why I didn't go all in. I have a list of all of the projects that I intended to start, and I only have 11 of them that are kitted. So out of the 20 patterns that I did have that I wanted to start, I can only start 11 of them. So that kind of narrowed it down a lot. And then also the original plan, this is me in plans, guys. What I had originally intended was 3 new starts every week and working on old works in progress. So 3 new starts, which means 1 new start each day of the weekend, basically. And that means 12 new starts overall. So what I did was, I have 11. I think I have 11. There's 1 or 2 that I may not start. Hi. Like the mini Christmas tree farm by Heaven and Earth Design. I've decided I don't want to do that on the 18 count. And Luna wants to say hello. I don't know if you can see her. Yes. No. Go lay down, please. Go lay down. Go lay down. So I think I'm going to take off the mini Christmas tree farm and change the color of that to green. And basically I'm going to, how do I put this? I went shopping and I don't like to talk about what I've bought that I haven't gotten yet, but it'll make sense when I say it. I purchased the fabric and the flosses to start my Plum Street, they're up there, Plum Street stacks. So I have Foxview and Sheep Heap up there, and I really, really want to start one. So I got the fabric for Sheep Heap. It was in stock, and I got all the Weeks Dye Works and Classic Color Works for both patterns, but I couldn't get Oaken fabric. Is it Oaken? Or did I get Oaken? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I got one of them. Yes, the called for fabric. So that's going to be one of my other starts. But I have a lot of things on the list, like the Twisted Rainbow sampler and things like that. I ordered fabric for it. It's taking a long time. I don't even know if it'll get here before June. So some of these things could probably be waiting until next year or until I finish another work in progress that is on my normal rotation. So I hope that makes sense. I want to finish long-term plans. I want to finish the works that are on my normal rotation before I incorporate a new work in progress into that rotation. I never thought I'd say that out loud. So that is the one that I'm looking forward to the most this week. But next week, I haven't talked about. On May 9th, I think it's 9th or 7th. 9th? One of them. I am going to be participating in the Stiach Alone. Normally it's called the Stiach Along, and Stiach is basically a husband and wife team, and Matt Fitzpatrick, who host a Stitch Along every year. And there's mini competitions and teamwork and points involved, and it's very competitive but very fun. And it's fun to even just watch and not necessarily even stitch. But I participated last year, and last year was the Golden Girls. I think if you go back to one of my first Flosstube episodes, you'll see the finish of that. It was so much fun. And I felt that it was fun because I wanted to give it to my grandmother. Her and her mother used to watch Golden Girls all the time. So I knew that it would be something that she would treasure, and she does. So this year, it's basically like, how do I put it? A modern mystery stitch along. This year, it's not a mystery. They have brought back the first pattern. Is it pattern? Sorry. The first request. I'm so sorry. I'm forgetting the words of it. But anyway, they made this pattern before, so they redesigned this pattern. And it is Bless This House. And it has a picture of Hugh Laurie's face on it. Now, I would not call myself a House fan. I don't watch House. I never have. I think I've watched maybe one episode in my life. So I'm not mad about the border and the words, but I really like Hugh Laurie. And I think it would be fun to participate and stitch it. Even if I leave off the border and the words. One of the things that they asked us to do was to choose a color palette. So first I had to choose a piece of fabric. Now, I agonized over this for a few days. Of course I did. And I decided on this piece of fabric that I cannot think of what to do on it. It is called Ember by the Crafty Kitten. It kind of looks like blood splatter or something, you know? Like, well, not really, but, you know, use your imagination, right? It's kind of this gray with flecks of blue and red. It almost looks patriotic. So this is a 28 count linen. And I'm going to go, I don't really know what stitch count I'm going to use, but essentially I'm going to use this with a blue color palette. I don't know if I'm going to be able to hold all of these at once. Let's try. I know that Em had fun with it on her live stream, so let's see. Oh, I think that's the wrong color, but look. I'll fix it later. So it's going to be, oops, this range of blues from lightest to darkest. And I believe that it'll work really well on this fabric. I think so. What do you think? I think it really pops with the reds, and it almost makes this look purple. I used an app called I believe the Color Harmonizer on Android to determine what color would be the most complementary, and the teal color range did match the best for both red and for that grayish browny purple. It's kind of a muddy color. So yeah, I am looking forward to that and getting started on that next week when it releases. But if you're interested, there are a lot of teams out there. I'm on Team Sips and Stitches, of course, because we don't total our teas, and we do involve quite a bit of alcohol. It's a 7-week long stitch along where the last week is all back stitching. And I don't think there's any French knots this year, so that's exciting. So if you want more information on Stiach, I will have some links down below so that you can check them out. Something that I did yesterday that I'm unable to do today because I've already packaged it up was pick the winner for the giveaway. Last Flosstube, I said if you would like to stitch the wildflowers pattern that I had in my World of Cross Stitch magazine, please comment down below. And I had 24 comments. 24 people wanted the pattern, and the winner is Dana. Dana, thank you and congratulations. That is about to go into the post and should be on its way to you by tomorrow or Tuesday. This is a bank holiday weekend, so nothing is open on Monday. but congratulations to you. So that is everything for cross stitching today. I do not have a giveaway for you today, but I'd like to talk a little bit about knitting as well. I have purchased a few patterns, specifically patterns for yarn that I have already. So I have some plans ahead, but I won't hype you up about it because I want to get some of the projects off my needles before I start new projects, because I already have enough works in progress in my life, right? Knitting is not one of those. So do you see this red and green alpaca? I got this from a knit crate a while ago, and I even have more on the way, I believe. I think I'm gonna make a scarf out of it. I was looking on Ravelry, and if you've ever been on the website, you can really hone in the search results. So I chose specific weight of yarn, type of yarn, and skill level. And so the easiest one was this beautiful scarf. And I think I do have a photo of it. Nope, I'll have to edit it in. Save download image. Okay, so I'm going to put in a picture right here of what Northern Warmth looks like. It is from Victoria Shivcook, and it's a beautiful scarf. I think it would work really well for the type of yarn it is and the time of year that I want to wear it. So I have purchased another pattern. And another one, because I'm enabled and I like to support people, is Westknit's Starflanklet. I cannot pronounce it, but basically it is a blanket shawl circular thing, and it's beautiful. I'll put in another picture here. Why not? I'm already editing. And I don't know when I will be doing that, but if I ever get a surplus of DK weight yarn that I need to get rid of, I'll use it in that blanket because it is so pretty and I think it would look amazing on my chair. Let's get into it. So the first thing that I was working on this week that I tried to put some time into, excuse me, husband, that I tried to put in some time into was the baby blanket, Staggered Squares it's called. And I'm not really happy because it's acrylic and it's so annoying. I don't like the way it feels. Let me see. That doesn't help at all. I'm so sorry. I'll just tell you. So it's a lot of counting, which I don't like. And it takes a lot of concentration, which would be great. But I like to knit and like watch TV, you know. So that is teaching me a lot about the kind of knitting that I want to be doing. Even though like I don't want to be focused on the actual knitting. I like to listen to an audiobook or a TV show or YouTube, and that's really hard to do with this blanket. So there's a part of me that's thinking, do I want to continue with this? I don't think I do. I may rip it out and then start something new. And I know that's awful, but I've only gone this far and I don't like it. So I'm listening to myself. There are tons of free baby blanket patterns out there in the world, and this doesn't have to be the end all be all. So, and because it's acrylic and, you know, because it's for a baby, I have to use this yarn, but I'm not enjoying the pattern. So I may rip that and then start a new, easier pattern, because I mean, like, it's at the stage where I had to create my own chart and check off the rows and everything, but it's just, I'm sure it's a beautiful, beautiful blanket, but I don't have the attention span for it. However, what I do have attention for is this beautiful cowl. It's called the Into the Bloom cowl by Ruby and Rose's yarn. Just trying to take it out without anything happening to it. Into the Bloom cowl by Ruby and Rose's yarn, using her own mini set from March. She had a mystery mini skein set for season set for March, and I am using, oh, it's caught, oh no, it's okay. You didn't tell me. It's funky. It's really funky, but it's cool. I like it. It'll look a lot better when it's off the needles because it increases quite a bit at the end here. This is the bottom, so it'll be worn like that. And I had ordered smaller needles, so I can I'm going to take off the yellow ribbing, and I'm going to do it properly. So because the pattern called for a smaller needle on the ribbing here at the very top, and obviously I didn't, so it's not any tighter, and that will make a huge difference. So but it's gorgeous. I mean, I know it's funky and all over the place and it doesn't fade at all, but that doesn't matter to me. What I really enjoy is the process of knitting, and while I'm knitting, I'm really enjoying changing colors and seeing all the beautiful speckles that come up on the needles, and I just find it incredibly enjoyable. Whether I wear it or not is irrelevant to me. And I know that sounds silly, but honestly, like, I really enjoyed looking at the colors and working up the stitches and building up my confidence for knitting. Because I didn't think that I'd be able to get to this level. And this is a beginner pattern, don't get me wrong, but again, this is like the third thing I've ever knit, and I really like it. I like it a lot. So here we have her daffodil, tulip fields, peony. Then these two colors here, the light pink with the gray speckles and the blue and pink together near the top, those are Dragon Horde Yarn Company colors in Fairy Eggs and Mermaid Eggs. And I thought they went really well with these springtime colors. And then I have this color, which is Ruby and Rose's Grape Hyacinth. And then I have the Harpy Eggs, I think it's called, which is a darker purple from Dragon Horde Yarn Company. And I'm pointing over there because it's right on top of the yarn basket. So yeah, this is something, it's like comfort knitting. It's comfort knitting, and I really, 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 really like it. So I think in the future, I have over here, I showed you last time, I think, the Fading Point by Joji. Goodness, sorry. The Fading Point by Joji is a super, super, super involved pattern. It's got a lot of lacing and a lot of details that I'm finding a little bit intimidating, but I want to take my own advice and try it anyway, just to try. And if that means that I don't know. You do it one row at a time, and all you can do is try. And if you don't like it, you can rip it out, right? Right. So I want to try it, but I'm also looking for backup ideas. So if you have any good patterns for fade, where you go from a dark yarn to a lighter yarn of the same color family, and you gradually move from one to the other, I'd love to hear your recommendations, especially if you've worked it yourself and you're pretty confident that it's like a beginner intermediate pattern. I'd love to hear that. I'm sure that I could do like garter stitch all the way across, but I don't really want to do that. And I think that is it. Is that everything? Yeah, I think I've shared with you all the things that I wanted to. Thank you so much for spending time with me. What I'm going to do now, before I let you go, is just to read another poem from Second Sight by Patty Bush. He is a local poet. Please check out his book. I'll have it linked down below. I skip the ones that have Irish in them. I don't speak Irish well, which is funny because he's an Irish poet. Okay. Considering everything that's going on right now, I think it's important for us to listen to stillness and to take a moment to fully feel everything. I know that sounds really hippie-ish, but like, when's the last time that you just stood still and listened to nothing? It's incredible. It's very motivating to some people. They call it grounding. So feel free to ground yourself. This poem is called Stone Dreaming. Let me be stone, stone dreaming. Let sages approach me, scraping for knowledge. Let youth approach me in search of secrecy. Let me be deaf, listening to the chattering of stars. Let me be mute, flirting with the sweet talk of the wind. Let me be stone, stone, chiseled with age. So there you go. That's your poem for this week. I hope that you all had a wonderful weekend and that you have a great May Day, the first May Bank holiday weekend. I know that it's hard to celebrate anything, but please feel free to join me in Stitch Mania on my YouTube, here on my Instagram, my Facebook. I'll be sharing my progress and just generally trying to be as positive as possible. Thank you to all my Patreons who have supported me through all of this. I see you and I appreciate you, and have a wonderful week ahead, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Take care, guys. Bye.